Tonight, Broken Hill on high alert as a Mildura resident tests positive for COVID-19. And Port Lincoln's expanded vaccine clinic officially opens.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening, thanks for your company. Broken Hill locals will now have to prove they meet certain criteria if they want to enter South Australia. But SA is tonight now fighting its own COVID battle with multiple exposure sites in Adelaide's northern suburbs.
2 cases recorded in Mildura, free travel between Broken Hill and that town, leaving the Silver City exposed.
If you've been to Mildura, I'd be seriously considering staying home and watching any changes in your health.
Broken Hill on edge as the city's closest neighbour reports new exposure sites. South Australia quick to respond to the news, changing its rules for cross-border communities. The 100-kilometre buffer zone scrapped, a travel corridor spanning from Manor Hill to Broken Hill taking its place.
I'd wish that the South Australian government would actually let the border community mayors know their intentions so we can do some work and negotiate what we can and can't do.
Silver City residents can only travel into SA if they do so under one of these categories. They must wear a mask and have not left the Broken Hill LGA in the 14 days prior. The latest changes leaving many confused, with different rules for South Australians travelling to and from Broken Hill, depending on whether they live in the corridor or not.
I go to the SAPOL or any of those websites and I find it very hard to understand, and I worked in health.
But SA now has problems of its own. An 81-year-old man testing positive after leaving hotel quarantine. Multiple exposure sites reported across Adelaide's north, with an Elizabeth Vale school and the Modbury Hospital ED shut down today.
And we have no choice but to put in enhanced restrictions in place as of midnight tonight. These will be statewide.
Among those restrictions, non-essential retail to close, outdoor dining only with 1 person per 4 square metre rule, private gatherings capped at 10 people, gyms and team sports banned, and masks to be worn wherever social distancing isn't possible. Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
But despite the ongoing threat of COVID-19, it seems some still aren't getting the message. Broken Hill police say they were called to a noise complaint at a Lane address on Saturday and found 20 people fighting. 2 Broken Hill residents and 1 person from Wilcannia will be issued $1,000 fines for allegedly breaching the public health order. Investigations are continuing, with police saying more fines could be issued. Local officers are routinely patrolling the city streets and businesses to ensure COVID compliance. Meanwhile, a new COVID vaccine clinic has opened in Port Lincoln today, helping to accelerate the rollout. 4 regional national pharmacy stores, including Port Lincoln and Port Pirie, will also offer vaccines to eligible customers.
Helping to vaccinate regional South Australians.
We're really happy that we've been able to secure some larger premises and also double the number of vaccinators we've got.
Port Lincoln's new hub, now open for business. It's aimed at accelerating the COVID-19 vaccination rollout and getting more jabs to more locals.
The easiest way out of this pandemic is through vaccine.
Other initiatives also getting underway in the region. From today, national pharmacy stores in Port Lincoln and Port Pirie can administer AstraZeneca to eligible people.
Our pharmacists have been waiting. We've got 70 in the organisation trained pharmacy vaccinators, and they just want to help out and get as many people vaccinated as we can.
She says many people feel more comfortable visiting their local pharmacy. Pharmacists already have a track record in this area, responsible for the delivery of a number of different immunisations.
Our customers feel comfortable when they come on. We're easy accessible. They know us. They come in, every week or 2.
Up to 4 nurses will be able to give the jab, increasing the daily appointments available.
So we'll be able to give 160 vaccines a day.
It's hoped pharmacies will be able to eventually also deliver Pfizer in the future. Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Golf News.
And South Australia has reached an important milestone in its response to the pandemic. New state government figures show more than 500,000 South Australians have now received their first shot of a COVID-19 vaccine. Authorities say it's important that residents roll up their sleeves to protect themselves from the deadly virus. Clinics remain open in numerous towns and cities across our region for those eligible for the shot. Meanwhile, another vaccination program will continue indefinitely to prevent the spread of illness in high-risk age groups. The state government will continue offering the meningococcal B immunisation program. The disease is most common in children under 5 years old and in young adults between 15 to 24. Since October 2018, more than 125,000 children and young adults have had at least one dose of the vaccine. Turning to other news now, and Port Augusta police are warning drivers to lock their cars with a surge in break-ins around the city. Residents are being urged to be cautious of what they leave in their cars, with small, valuable items the most targeted.
It's an issue currently causing havoc in Port Augusta. Opportune thieves targeting local cars tempted by what's being left inside.
So we've had a bit of an increase in volume crime in Port Augusta of late. By that I mean thefts and people going through vehicles, stealing loose change, etc. We've put out a few extra patrols. You might have noticed some more police around.
Sergeant Porter says local police are making daily arrests but want the public to remain vigilant. Common items stolen include loose change, small portable devices, jewellery and bags. Additional patrols are being deployed as they deal with a spike in reports.
It is a little unseasonal. Normally we don't have this level of crime at this time of the year, but we do thankfully have the extra resources at the moment to be able to put out extra patrols and focus on this for the time being.
He says while most are occurring in public spaces, the city's accommodation and caravan parks are also being affected. Car owners urged to do the simple things to reduce the risk.
So it's largely unlocked cars on the street, sometimes in driveways. That's what we're noticing most. But obviously, keep your houses locked as well. We just want to remove any sort of temptation.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, drivers urged to respect the speed limit as school returns for another term. And our region's MFS fire station set for their annual inspection. Welcome back. As thousands of South Australian students go back to school this week, the RAA is issuing a timely reminder for those behind the wheel, with new figures showing the dangers lurking in school zones. Katrina Musson has the story.
Alarming new figures have prompted the RAA to plead for vigilance as students return to school this week. State government data reveals more than 1,000 school children aged 5 to 18 have been in an accident while walking or cycling on the state's roads in the last decade. Tragically, 6 were killed, 162 suffered serious injuries, and another 875 required medical treatment.
Unfortunately, we are seeing these things occurring, so that's why it's so important, to remember that back to school means that schools are busy, but also be extra vigilant in and around schools.
Motorists urged to exercise caution around schools, with the RAA saying young children are among the most vulnerable.
It is really, really important that everyone is mindful of this and has their full level of concentration when they're driving in and around schools.
He says research shows there is a 10% risk of a fatality if someone is hit by a vehicle travelling at just 30 kilometres per hour. The risk of a fatal collision surges to 80% if the vehicle's speed is 50 kilometres.
In South Australia, you're required to travel at 25 k's when the lights are flashing at school crossings and when there are children present.
The RAA says parents can also help by educating children about road safety.
Police are investigating a truck rollover in the state's mid-north. Just before 3:30 yesterday morning, police came across a road train trailer on its side along the Barrier Highway at Yakolta, east of Peterborough. Police say it appears a trailer tipped over when the driver was negotiating a bend. The driver was not injured. Our local Metropolitan Fire Service stations are going under the microscope this month, with their annual assessments beginning this week. 17 branches are competing to be crowned the best regional station in South Australia.
Firefighters from across regional South Australia battling it out to be crowned champion station.
To showcase their skills and basically demonstrate their ability to be able to respond to all types of emergencies.
The regional station proficiency and audit assessments returning this year after a year off due to COVID-19 restrictions. It's a chance for firefighters to showcase their skills, community spirit and commitment to public safety.
Our regional firefighters take great pride in the way their fire stations are presented.
While the audit is a serious event, the Chief Officer's Shield is highly sought after.
All the stations do sort of take it seriously. It is hotly contested.
The Port Lincoln MFS had their assessment in June, with Michael proud of their effort.
Port Lincoln audit was very successful. The firefighters put a lot of work prior to the assessments into the drills.
It's been a long time since Port Lincoln won the top prize.
Very competitive, and we're hoping that this year will be different.
The winners will be announced later in the year. Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Foundation Broken Hill has appointed a project officer to prepare the city for future mining projects. Travis Nadge will begin in the newly created role next month, working to ensure Broken Hill has infrastructure in place to expand the local workforce. Housing and childcare facilities said to be areas of concern.
Those sort of things we're hearing anecdotally about those issues, and this is really around putting some information together and saying, are they really concerns and what are the opportunities there to fix that?
We believe that this might be a first for Broken Hill and possibly even Australia, who knows.
The position is jointly funded by mining companies Benegary, Cobalt Blue and Lodestone Mines. Stay with us. A monster display set to feature at this year's Wireless Show. And a York Peninsula woman recognised for her contribution to local tourism. Time is running out to register for the Tunarama Ambassador Quest ahead of next year's festival. Tunarama will be returning to Port Lincoln in January next year, after this year's was cancelled due to COVID-19 restrictions. Event organisers are encouraging others to get involved and join the 2 entrants already registered for the contest. Anyone wanting to be an ambassador must show their interest by Saturday, July 31. It's only a month until the Wireless Show returns, with organisers keen for the community to get involved in the activities. This year's show has a special attraction for revheads, with a monster truck demonstration set to take place.
Gather your family and friends, the show is about to be back in town. The Wireless Show, postponed last year due to the COVID-19 pandemic, will return in 2021.
It's great to see all of our hard work over the year coming together, and yeah, we're right at the finish line. It's getting very exciting.
This year's edition will have 2 special attractions to encourage the community to attend. Monster trucks and motocross return to the Steel City after a long hiatus. Attendees will be able to get their thrill by riding on board the Mammoth Utes.
It's not just having a look, you actually get to have a close-up interaction experience and actually have a ride in the back of one. So yeah, just taking it that step further.
Celebrating its 50th anniversary, it'll be a show like no other, with the new normal changing how it operates. Organisers are hoping for a big crowd, but they've issued a warning. Don't expect to roll up and be able to buy a ticket in person.
We're very much hoping our community support us with these small changes that we've had to put in place, but the show will be as much as normal as possible.
Tickets are still on sale via the show's Facebook page. Mark Zita, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A York Peninsula woman has received a prestigious award for her outstanding contribution to the state's regional tourism industry. She says while she's honoured to be recognised, she is simply living out a passion.
For Lynn Sperling, receiving the Harry Dowling Award was a big surprise.
I do what I do because I love it, and I do it for my community and for the region, and I feel just so honoured.
The award recognising individuals for their contribution to the state's regional tourism industry, something that's been a part of her daily life for 3 decades. Lynn has served as Council's Tourism and Library Coordinator, worked on the Cornish Festival and most recently chaired the largest regional Masters Games in history.
Working, yes, just generally with the community in every single way that I can, just to promote our area, and we're very blessed to live in such a fabulous part of the world, and it's just been great to be able to acknowledge that.
The Copper Coast Mayor says she's proud of Lynn's passion for the region.
It's really justified, her recognition. She does do events as part of her role on council, but it goes far beyond that.
And she's not stopping yet. Hard at work planning future events.
We would love to host another Masters Games in the future. Obviously, we're in the in-between with the festival, but that will come around again very quickly. We have the field days later this year, and as well as a lot of sporting events that bring a lot of people to our region.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. We will have all the highlights and scores from the weekend's local footy. And Alex Sykes will join us with all the latest weather details. Hello again. It was a big weekend of footy across the region, with several teams taking advantage of the calm conditions. In Whyalla, 2 teams were dominant, coming away with 20-plus goal victories. Mark Zeta has this week's footy wrap.
It was perfect football conditions for Whyalla's teams over the weekend, and West Whyalla showed why they are top of the ladder. The game against the South Whyalla Demons started off close, with the visiting side scoring a behind to start off the day's proceedings. However, from there, the Dragons dominated the field with a 22-goal thrashing of their opponents. West's Ben English leading the goal scoring for his team with 5. He wasn't playing a lone hand either, with 10 of his teammates scoring at least 1 goal in their victory. Cross town at Memorial Oval, it was a similar affair with Central Whyalla beating Rapina by 144 points. Sunday's match, however, was much closer, with Waruna Bay 1-goal victors over the Magpies. The Tigers' Ned Buckerfield leading the goal scoring for his team with 5. Time to check the rest of the region's action. In the SGL, South Augusta defeated Port at Central Oval 94 points to 38. At Memorial Oval, Prop Risdon couldn't match Solomon Town, with the Cats winning comfortably by 9 goals. In the Sunday afternoon game, West Augusta defeated Central Augusta by 32 points. In the Port Lincoln Football League, all 3 home sides came away with victories. Wayback had a 44-point win over Lincoln South at Centenary Oval, Sam Heinges with 5 goals for the winning side. Mallee Park also came away with a win against Boston, coming from behind at quarter time to win by 38 points. The Packers' Tyrone Miller-Warren starring with 3 goals. And a 9-0 first half helped Marble Range defeat Tasman. And finally, moving to Broken Hill, while South and West both scored 5 goals in their match, the home team came away with an 8-point victory. While at Jubilee Oval, North comfortably won in their match against Central 7-5-47 to 3-10-28. That's it for Footy Wrap. Tune in tomorrow where we look at results from the rest of the region's sports action.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather across the Spencer Gulf and Broken Hill. With all the details, it's good evening to Alex Sykes.
Thanks, John, and good evening to you and everyone. Well, we had a little break from those wet conditions across most parts today. From 3 p.m, Port Augusta had morning frost and was sunny, 17. Whyalla was sunny and 18, and Port Lincoln had showers and 16. Looking further out across the region now, Broken Hill was cloudy and 14. There were a shower or 2 for Adelaide, also 14. It was sunny for Port Pirie and Woodner, both 16. Kadina and Cleve were 15. Clare reached 12. Cooper Pedy was sunny and 19. Taking a look at the satellite image now, areas of cloud across southern and eastern areas in an unstable airstream and prefrontal trough are causing a few showers. Clearer further north and west near a high pressure ridge. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Northwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas below 1 metre, and south to southwesterly swell 1 to 2 metres. Port Lincoln showers easing and 15, Clare 13, Woodness set to reach 15 degrees. Whyalla will have a shower 2 and 16. Port Augusta set to have similar conditions 17. Kadina showers easing and 14 degrees. Port Pirie showers becoming windy 15 degrees. Clare showers 10, and Broken Hill will be partly cloudy and set to reach a high of 15. Taking a look further through the week now, mainly fine conditions forecast for Wednesday. Cloudy across Adelaide, Kadina, Port Lincoln and Cooper Pedy. Sunny for Broken Hill and partly cloudy elsewhere. And those showers return on Thursday. Cooper Pedy will be partly cloudy and 19. Showers everywhere else. Temperatures mainly in the mid-teens. Very similar conditions forecast for Friday. Partly cloudy for Cooper Pedy and Broken Hill. Showers across the rest of the region. 20 will be the region's top, while 14 is the low. So at least there were some nice conditions today, which would have made it easier to get out of bed on the first day of school. It's unfortunate that we won't see that continue this week with the rain to set in again. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. Back to you, John.
Good news for farmers. Thanks, Alex. And that's the local news this Monday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later, and we will be back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.